Just a story. Treatment. The present day. Bryony's house. Bryony's bedroom. Night. An establishing shot of cute fluffy slippers on the floor cuts to reveal a girl, Bryony. Bryony is dressed in plain pyjamas with shoulder-length brown hair that falls messily around the sides of her face, and she looks about 18 years of age. This is when the voiceover is to begin. She is lying in her bed in a dimly lit room, and she is reading a red book. A medium shot reveals her to be reading a fairy tale book. After a short while, she closes the book, puts it on her bedside table and turns her nightlight off. Darkness. The nightlight is turned on to reveal an extreme close-up of Bryony's face looking in a slightly uncomfortable manner. A mid-long match-on action shows Bryony getting out of bed and curiously looking under the mattress. She pulls something out and looks inquisitively at it. An extreme close-up reveals her to be holding a small glass marble, thus proving to be the item causing her discomfort. Fade to black. The present day. Bryony's house. Bryony's bedroom. Day. The scene fades into a medium shot of the back of Bryony opening her bedroom curtains to reveal daylight coming through the blinds. It then cuts to her fully dressed, putting on her coat, and then a match-on action of her picking a shoulder bag, while the camera tracks forward, putting the book off the bedside table in it, and then an extreme close-up of her picking her keys up and phone with the sound of the door closing behind her. The present day. Cannock. Street. Day. A tracking shot shows Bryony walking down a fairly grey and boring street. A match-on action then shows her walking down the street still, but we now see the front of her as she stops and pulls the book out of her bag. She flicks to a page and then continues to walk. A match-on action shows her walking as a tracking shot. The present day. Cannock. Train station. Day. A medium shot reveals Bryony to be stood on the train station platform reading her fairy tale book. She looks completely engrossed in the book, and the emptiness around her emphasises this effect. A close-up shows her to notice the train as we can hear it pulling in. In a medium shot, Bryony closes the book and walks towards the train. The present day. Cannock. Train. Day. Bryony, in a medium-long shot, is engrossed in her book once again while she's on the train, with the world quickly going past her through the window. She calmly turns the pages of the book. The present day. Birmingham. Costa Coffee Shop. Day. In a secluded part of the coffee shop, Bryony is on her own with a cup of coffee in one hand and her book in the other. She takes a sip of the coffee. As it cuts from a medium shot to a cutaway extreme close-up of the coffee mug being put back down onto the saucer, there is a focus pull showing the front of the book. The present day. Birmingham. City Street. Late afternoon. An extreme long shot shows Bryony walking down a city street. It then cuts to a medium long shot of Bryony coming to a stop, looking around where she is. She gazes into the distance and moves reluctantly into the distance. The present day. Birmingham. Water feature. Late afternoon. The camera pans as Bryony takes a seat on the side of a water feature and sits cross-legged. She opens the book and begins to read. Later, we see her taking out a small coin and throwing it in the fountain as she closes her eyes and makes a wish. She's interrupted by a notification on the phone and she takes it out of her pocket and reads the message. As she puts the phone away, a close-up reveals her to be looking fed up, and then she walks away from the fountain. The present day. Cannock. Dark alley street. Night. A tracking from behind shows Bryony walking down towards and through a dark alley, only lit by one single street lamp. A tracking shot shows Bryony walking towards the brightly lit street lamp from the side, but she comes to a stop when the shot reveals a dark figure, Ash, and he steps out in front of her to abruptly block her pathway, causing her to stop. A high-angle shot shows Bryony's rather uncomfortable reaction to Ash's sudden appearance and to what he begins to say. A reverse shot reveals to show Bryony trying to push past Ash, but her failing as he blocks her, pushes her back and carries on talking to her. A close-up shows her looking disgusted at what he is saying and looks around for a way to escape him as he continues to talk. It cuts to a two-shot as she makes a run for it, pushing him hard as she goes past him. He grabs her arm in a close-up and it restricts her as she pushes through, causing him to lose his grip on her. We hear something fall. Bryony runs off into the distance as Ash is seen in the foreground picking something up. A mid-shot shows him looking down at the object he's picked up, revealing it to be a fairy tale book. And he looks confused. The confused look turns into a look showing him not to care as he just drops it on the floor and walks off. The camera pans down to show the book on the floor. The present day. Bryony's house. Bryony's bedroom. Night. From outside the bedroom window, Bryony is walking around with her hands in her hair and holding onto her neck, showing that she's in a very distressed state. She begins to wipe her face with a makeup wipe. She comes to the window and the camera tracks forward to a close-up of her face, revealing mascara streaks down her face, and it clearly shows that she has been crying. She looks into the distance in the direction of the sky and closes her eyes as though she's wishing upon a star. Fade to black. The present day, Bryony's house, Bryony's bedroom, morning. A close-up of a sleeping Bryony's face in a dimly lit room isn't disturbed when we hear and see the light being turned on. It then pulls back so we can see a girl in the doorway, peering around the wall towards Bryony, and we can clearly see that she's got something behind her back. As she walks down the side of Bryony's bed, it is now known what she's holding is Bryony's book and a note of paper. A close-up of the bedside table focuses on a glass of water in the foreground as the book and the note are placed on the bedside table. It then pulls so that the book and glass are now clear. An extreme close-up reveals what is said on the note. The present day, school, classroom, day. A medium long shot shows Bryony doing her schoolwork at a desk within a classroom. She continues to write until suddenly she looks up. A dolly zoom focuses on her thoughtful and confused face. The present day, Cannock, train, day. Bryony is once again on the train, reading the fairy tale book when her phone can be heard going off in her bag, which is upright on the floor. She closes the book and puts it on the empty seat next to her. She lifts her bag up and rests it on the book as she frantically searches for her phone. She answers it and continues to talk until she goes to get off the train. She picks up the bag and takes it with her, but accidentally leaves the fairy tale book behind. The present day, Cannock, train station, day. A tracking shot shows Bryony walking away from the platform, still blissfully unaware of what she's left behind, so suddenly she realises, looks distraught and starts to run back to the platform she was originally on. The camera pans left and right as a POV of now empty platform. We hear a voice that seems like it's coming from behind Bryony. A mid-shot of Bryony reveals a boy standing behind her. She slowly turns around to face the boy. An over-the-shoulder shot shows her to look up at him. A two-shot shows him to offer the book back as he introduces himself as Harry. A shot reverse shot shows Bryony take the book back timidly. Then Harry looks at her worriedly until she inquires about what's in the book. An over-the-shoulder shot reveals that Harry has written his number on a receipt and placed it inside the inside cover of the fairy tale book with the receipt poking out. The camera tilts upwards to see him smiling down at her as he speaks. He then turns and begins to walk away. A close-up shows Bryony to be slightly flustered and rather smitten. Present day, Bryony's house, Bryony's bedroom, day. In the mirror, Bryony finishes putting on her mascara as she hears the doorbell go. A close-up shows her closing the open fairy tale book on the dresser and grabbing her clutch. We hear the door close behind her as the camera focus pulls to the book. The present day, Bryony's house, Bryony's front door, day. Harry is standing in front of Bryony's front door, holding a rose behind his back. The door opens and reveals Bryony to be stood there looking beautiful in a long red dress. A close-up of the rose shows a beautiful single petal fall gracefully. The end.